Fellas, and what would the female equivalent to fellas be? I think fellas is pretty gender neutral, huh? Fellas and fellettes, welcome to Crispy Conversations, the hit new channel. If you are a new viewer, which 100% of you are statistically, please make sure you're subscribed because I want to take this channel pretty far. I want to do this in my spare time and I want to help people out. And this first video is a topic that is something that I dealt with pretty recently. And I don't have a script, I just want to let you guys know I didn't write anything down. I'm literally just going off the top of my head here. So maybe in the future I'll write a script for these videos if I really want to plan something out. But I don't know. I want a free flow. I just want to let it out of me. A thought pops in my brain and it just comes right out, That's how it should be, right? I don't want to overthink anything. Anyways, first in this video, I wanted to touch a little bit on the recent breakup that I went through. And after that, I wanted to give some pointers, some tips on some things that I did that might help some of you guys in the same situation. Because God knows there's a lot of breakup videos on YouTube, and I'm sure there's some good stuff out there. But from my experience and looking, 90% of these guys are trying to sell you their breakup emergency kit, where you buy this shit now and you get your ex back. It's insane. It's like I don't even know. I don't know how those guys sleep at night if they're just out here scamming like that. I'm sure everything on YouTube's not bad, but I want to just let you know what I did. I literally lived through this. I literally lived through this shit, so I will tell you what I did that helped. Okay, let's summarize this story. I really am not going to get too in depth because, it's at the end of the day, it's my personal life, and I'm talking about a person that I very much care about. Although she did break my heart, I kind of was breaking hers for 2 years straight. So we actually never officially dated. I don't know how many of you guys know this lore of us, but we never officially gave ourselves the title of boyfriend and girlfriend. But I should probably start at the beginning, honestly. Let me just do I'm gonna really quickly dive through a 2-year relationship. When we met, I wasn't into her right away. Which I definitely thought she was cool enough to go on a second date with, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel any sort of butterflies or whatever that would be called. But at that time, I wasn't open to a relationship, and I told her that. It was kind of the opposite with her. I mean, she instantly fell in love, and I remember on our third date, I was driving her home, and right before she got out the car, she just slipped up and said, "I love you." And yeah, at the time it was a funny moment, to say the least. But I was getting there. I was getting there. Maybe it just takes me a little while longer to warm up to somebody. And yeah, that was the beginning stage of a relationship. And I don't know. So this is just gonna be the common theme here. Let me lay this one on you. Since I was 10, really, I just had this vision. Ever since I found out what YouTube was, I knew I was going to do it, and I knew I was going to be, I don't say the greatest, but I knew I was going to be one of the all-time great. I don't know. I have this vision. I'm very obsessed. If you guys have seen, Mr. Beast interviews where he talks about how obsessed with YouTube he is, and that's all he does in his spare time. It's all he did since he was a kid, and he was made fun of it in school for talking about it so much. I'm literally the exact same way. I've been doing it since I was a kid. It's always been my main focus for as long as I can remember. And yeah, that's part of the reason I didn't want a relationship, is because I was building something, and I didn't want anything to get in the way of what I was building. And I know that sounds terrible to say. That's actually awful to say out loud, but that's how I felt. I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, so that's gonna be a common theme. But when I met this girl, she had, I really don't want to say too much about her that I don't know if she would want out there, because at the end of the day, I still have respect for her, and I don't want to make her seem like a bad person or anything. But when I met her, she just felt lost in her life. I could just see it in her eyes, and she had nobody to care for her, nobody, her own family she had issues with, and it almost felt like responsibility. I needed to take care of this girl, and that's why I continued to see her, because I don't know, she used to write me poems and tell me how I pulled her out of this dark place in her life, and it just made me feel useful. And if that was, my main purpose of me meeting her was, looking back at the relationship now, if that was my main purpose to get her out of that spot, then I'm glad it happened. I'm glad I met her, and I have no regrets. I don't know. It's funny because when I met her, she had like no life experience at all. Like if this was a game, she'd have like 0 XP. She'd be level 1 basically. She's a noob. We would just go to like a random pizza place, and she's like, "This is the best pizza I've ever had." And in reality, it's just average, not that good. And I'm just like, have you not had pizza ever? And just, I don't know. It's cool to be that person in her life that showed her so much stuff, so much life, so many different experiences I got to show her for the first time. It almost made me like relive them too. And it felt good. Anyways, where was I? Okay. So we continued to see each other for a few months. And this was when we both lived in the same city. It was very nice. We can travel. She could see me, go back to her apartment, and I can get my work done. It was really nice living in the same city. It was really nice. Felt pretty cool. And then, the whole lockdown thing happened, and we actually chose to do it together. And looking back on those memories, I loved it. I'm so glad she was there for that. We would just play Animal Crossing together, and just like, I don't know, it was a lot of fun. And like, that's where I'd say for me, I started to feel the feelings for her. And, here's where it gets interesting, because I felt them. I definitely felt them. Something in me was still telling me that I didn't want the commitment of a relationship. So we continued to do what we did, just no label. Basically, we're dating though. I mean, it just had no label. I later found out in therapy, I'm gonna skip ahead a bit, I have something called an avoidant attachment style. Everybody has an attachment style, and that is your definition of how you love in any relationship. You can have an anxious attachment style, a secure attachment style, or an avoidant attachment style. Due to, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but due to my childhood and me having to always look after myself and just always take care of myself, I became avoidant. I learned about this, and I did tons of research on it as well. Like once I learn something about anything, I'll like invest so much time into learning everything about it. And I saw this thread where it's like traits of an avoidant attachment style. And I literally, every single thing on that list was like, oh my God, this is me. This is me. This is me. This is me. This is crazy. Like this makes so much sense. And one of them literally said focusing on your career, overly focusing on your career instead of anything else. And like that, I couldn't relate more. That was it, man. The whole time we would be cuddling, laying in bed, and I'm just thinking, man, my YouTube video did not perform today, or what YouTube video am I gonna make next? And it's like a sick mindset to have. I'm really, really working towards getting out of it, and it's not an overnight thing. It's really not. But I'm way better than I was a few months ago, for sure. It's really tough. It's really tough for me to feel present when my mind is always so hyper focused. Don't get me wrong. It's why I'm successful. I don't want to like sit here and like jerk myself off. Okay, so let's go. I moved to Texas. It's still, that's like, I don't know. It's weird because I moved away, and I just felt this love for her grow stronger. So let's switch it to her perspective for a second. I mean, from her perspective, from what I can believe, I'm like assuming when I talk about her perspective, and I definitely, if she wants to, she can tell this story. I don't know if she thinks I'm an asshole, or I don't know. I don't know what I am to her perspective. I just know what I did myself. But from her perspective, I think at this point she's still in love with me, and I'm telling her, no, I can't date you. I'm sorry. I'm too focused. I have too much going on. It's too much. And she would just tell me that it was okay. And she would say, it's perfectly fine. I don't want to date you either. It's something like that. Like, you're not even my type, or something like that. And I don't know, I knew when she said that she was lying, and it just made me feel so fucking, I would like, when she wasn't there, I'd just be so, like, I'd be beating myself up. Like, I'm a fucking asshole. This girl is in love with you, and you can't give her your full time. It made me feel, I knew it was awful. I felt bad doing it. But at that point in time, I couldn't allow myself to be happy for whatever reason. I couldn't snap out of YouTube analytics and all this stuff. Like I couldn't, if I would have snapped out of it there and just felt like let the love feeling take over, I probably would have been really happy. And, she mentioned later that she was scared to tell me that how she was really feeling. And, during this period, I did some pretty fucked up stuff, like going on the Minecraft dates with the girl from Minecraft. In my eyes, it was like completely 100% just content, just for fun. And, this girl is sitting here watching that and she's in love with me and she has to see that. Even my friends call me out on this and I'm glad they did because, I definitely should be held accountable for this. I don't know. I weirdly knew she was in love with me, but, I still asked her if this thing was okay that I was doing and she said it was okay, but it clearly, it wasn't good. It wasn't healthy for our relationship in general. I just wish we had better communication. I wish she would upfront honestly tell me I'm not comfortable with this happening. And like I said, she was just scared that I would have been like, no, fuck you, I'm doing this shit anyways. And I don't think I would have been that attached to the idea of me doing the Minecraft date series, because it really happened by accident. If you guys remember, it just kind of happened out of nowhere. And in my eyes, it literally was nothing more than just content. But I understand. I'm really looking back at the situation, wouldn't have done it. And it's just me being stupid and me being, I don't know, just a YouTuber. You see something successful, you keep doing it for a few weeks. But yeah, totally neglected her feelings throughout that whole thing, and I apologize to her for that, of course. And yeah, sorry to the other girl involved as well. I mean, I did want to, I don't know. I feel like it's weird because I think they're friends now, and I don't want it to be weird between them after this comes out. But yeah, it's just as innocent as it was in my head. It doesn't come out that way for other people looking on. And a lot of people did call me out on that shit, and you should have. Like the people who knew how close Kate was to me, they all called me out on that. And yeah, it was probably one of the most fucked up things I've ever done to somebody that cared about me the most. So yeah, I just wanted to address that really quick in the middle of this. Yeah, so fast forward a few months, she's visiting a lot. This girl's basically a Texas resident at this point. We're basically living together, but she would go back for a couple weeks at a time. But yeah, basically we're spending a lot of time together. She still didn't have like the best, situation going on. So when she could get the opportunity to come see me, she would take it. Yeah, it went on for a while like that. And, we still enjoyed each other's company. We definitely have some good memories together that I'll never forget during those times. She helped me move twice, right? Was it twice? I don't know, 3 times? I don't even know. I moved so much. But yeah, and then it comes to December of this past year. And I finally, just guard completely down, Took me that long, but one day I woke up and I was like, wow, this girl is amazing. I think I'm going to ask her to be my girlfriend. I think it's about time that I ask her this question, That was in the beginning of December, like right after we made that video. She left. She left to go back home after we filmed our last video together. And I asked her to come back for Christmas. And she said, yeah. So that was the next time we saw each other. And yeah, in that meantime, I went out, I got a ring. I wasn't gonna like propose, but it's supposed to be like, like a promise ring type of thing. Like, I promise not to be a fucking asshole anymore. And I was gonna give it to her on Christmas with a bunch of gifts that I got her. And then when she got here on Christmas, the first thing we did was get in a fight. And I don't want to talk about what it was over. I don't want to say who's right, who's wrong. I don't want to. It's just we got in a fight, and yeah, we got in that fight. So I didn't get to. I gave her the gifts, but I held on to the ring because it wasn't the right time. I wanted to take her to, hot air balloon or a fancy restaurant on the water or something, and like ask her there. But I don't know. The vibe was off, and I mean, we made up that next day. That next day I just remember watching Deal or No Deal with her. Great show, fantastic show. I remember she predicted the case with $1 million in it. And then I did the following episode as well. So I think we're both psychic in some way. But the next day she had a family emergency and had to go back home. So just like in and out super quick. And, I didn't get to ask her that trip. So what happened was she was supposed to come back in a couple weeks. Her life ended up getting super busy all at once. A bunch of stuff came up in her life. And, I was just sitting there waiting, and I kept waiting, and I got impatient. I was just sitting there waiting to ask this question, and I just got impatient. I think I asked her over the phone, and, that's when I realized that she didn't feel the same way anymore. And, man, I think after we got off the phone that night, that's like the first time I cried in forever. It sucked, man. It sucked, and she was supposed to come back and just never did. And it was probably best that she didn't, honestly, because I would have been like way overly emotional about it. And I was over the phone, and I was just like, it just kind of hit me out of nowhere. But I forced her to feel this way. I, for 2 years straight, was the one saying, no, we can't do this. I'm sorry, we can't do this. We can't. And, as soon as I was ready, that's when she was over it. And I think she said it or I said it. It's like, there must be some sort of curse placed on us or something where we just can't love each other at the same time. But yeah, it sucked, man. It really did. And I would be looking back, well, I could have changed so much stuff about this relationship, but like looking back at it now, I don't think I would. I lived through all of that for a reason, to fix myself, to fix the way I love. It's like, this is like extremely fucking vulnerable for a first video on a channel. But yeah, I just have been working on that since. Well, let me continue the rest of the story. Actually, let me just end it and then talk about what I've been doing. So we stayed friends. Like after she told me that, I was like, all right, let's just stay friends. I'm going to try and feel how I used to feel about you. And it just wouldn't go away. I was just like, fuck, man, I'm in love with this girl. I can't hide it. I don't know how she hid it so well when the roles were reversed, but she was a master at that shit. But for me, this was like my first time feeling emotions in a long time. And that's why I was like so hooked on this feeling. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is how you feel when you're in love. It's incredible. I mean, I was in love, but I was pushing the feelings down. This is how you feel when you're unsuppressed, when you're like, there's no suppression on this love. And it's just all I feel. And it's like every part of my body's wanting to jump out and just, I don't know. It felt amazing. I just wanted to share that with her. And at that point, she was over it, which is, like I said, completely understandable. The way I treated her for 2 years straight, totally justified. And it took me a while to figure that out. It really did. It took me a while to figure that out. So we tried to stay friends. I couldn't. I just said, if we can't do this, then I can't talk to you, And she understood. And, that sucks because she was my best friend. Beyond having feelings for her. I just never was, I don't know. I never had a relationship that close with anybody. She knew everything about me. I knew everything about her. And it just, in every literal sense of the word best friend, that's what we were. And yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome to have gotten to know her and helped her, and she helped me, and it was just a great, fulfilling friendship. So yeah, I kind of just told her that, we gotta stop talking, because it's not healthy for me to just be sitting here waiting for you. I have to move on, and kind of just force myself to do that. And yeah, I did. It's tough. The first day after I sent that text, I lied to her. I was like, yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. And it's just like, you can't move on that quickly. You can't. It took I don't know. It's just that first few weeks where you're just like fighting the urge to text her. Or, I know if you're going through a breakup, I'm sure you can relate. I'm sure you can relate. But with every passing day, well, okay. So here's what I did wrong. And I'm sure, and maybe it's not wrong. Let's not judge my past self, and let's not judge any of you guys because maybe you're doing this right now. That first month after the breakup, I was already in like a super, super rough patch. I completely neglected to mention that. Like the end of the year last year, the beginning of this year, unrelated to this, most depressed I've ever been. Very, very, very lowest point in my life. And, maybe I was at this time probably demanding too much from her as well. And she might have saw that as, I can't handle this. I got so much going on, which is completely fine. She doesn't owe me anything. If that were the case, I'm not saying that is. I'm not like, I really, 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 really am trying to make this video without her sounding like a bad person. And please, like, I know a lot of you guys follow her on Instagram and, please do not mention anything about this. Like it was our part. I like that's part of the reason why I'm hesitant to doing this. I don't want her to get any hate, but also I was still getting people every day, hundreds of people. If I were to check my DM requests on Instagram or check my Twitter mentions, hey, when's the next video with Kate? When's the next video with Kate? Or I'll get tagged in an edit of us kissing on Instagram. It's like, what the fuck's going on, man? I gotta say something. I gotta say something, but do not hate on her. If I don't hate her, you guys should not hate her. Like that makes no fucking sense. So I'm just saying that. Just putting that out there, okay? I don't want any negative repercussions to come from this. Where the fuck was I, dude? Okay, yeah. So here's what I did. That looking back, I probably would have did different, but maybe I wasn't able to at the time. The first like 2-3 weeks after I sent her that text, like I said, I was already like peak depressed. I just couldn't do anything. I would wake up, didn't even watch TV. I would lay in the dark for the whole day. Couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't function, man. It was really rough. And yeah, it was just so tough to go through that. So if you're going through this right now, just know that it's completely normal. Heartbreak, man. Our human brains are designed to survive thousands of years ago before relationships and breakups were a thing. So when we add in this new element, it's like our body goes into shock and it's like, what the fuck is happening right now? And I did have a girlfriend, in the past, but I don't know. For me, this one just caught me so off guard. In the past, I was the one who broke up with my girlfriend, and this one was kind of her doing. I guess it was both of ours. We could have still be remaining friends right now, but that definitely would not have been healthy at all. Yeah, so that was awful. It was actually terrible, and I think I lost like a majority of the weight that I've gained there, and I'm thankful I've been able to keep it off with the gym and stuff. And I mean, that's the next thing I'm gonna get into. One day, like 3 weeks into it or so, I woke up and I was like, fuck it. Today's the day I change. Today's the day I get better. Today's the day I start healing, and I did, man. I started going to the gym, just started running, eating like super healthy. Diet is super important. Like what you're putting in your body is, I realize, probably controls a lot of how you feel and the inner workings of your body. So if you have a pretty rough diet, I'd try and clean it up a little bit. And the biggest one was just getting into therapy and just having real talks about like, this situation and just talking about it, talking it out with another person. I don't know. For me, I don't know, a lot of people hear therapy and they're like, oh, I don't want to fucking do that shit. But it helped me. It definitely helped identify what I did wrong in the relationship, for sure. Like I wouldn't know of this attachment style stuff if that weren't the case. And, I'm like I said, I'm only saying what I did wrong in this relationship. And in reality, of course, it takes two people to make a relationship work, and it takes two people to make a relationship fail. So of course there were faults on both of our ends. But yeah, eating right, gym, therapy, those are probably the big three. And, just going out and hanging out with friends, meeting new friends, and just like realizing that life is still going on. It's not like because this thing happened that life completely stopped. It may feel like that for you if you're going through this right now, but I promise it's still going on out there, and it's just waiting for you. It's waiting for you to join. This is truthfully like some of the most fun I've had in years. Just being able to, I don't know. It's just everything feels. It's like a new lease on life. That's the first time I've heard that saying so much, but that's kind of how it feels, man. And I think about healing too, especially from a breakup. It's really not linear. When I say healing isn't linear, let me tell you from my perspective. Like the few weeks after the breakup, like I'll wake up one day, okay, I'm sad. You know, I miss her. Okay, I miss her. I'm sad. Next day, oh wait, I'm completely fine. I feel all right. Today's a good day. Day after that, oh, I hate her. I hate her. How could she do this? I hate her, and I never want to see her again. Next day, oh, I miss her again. So it's like, you know, there's like multiple different stages of grief, and you're gonna bounce between all of them until you're fully healed. And you know that went on for a while, of course. And I didn't even mention when this happened. Did I? Maybe I did. I think we broke up officially in January, so it's been almost 4 months. But there was time, you know, where I thought I was fully good and I would bounce back. It's just like some little things will set me off. If a song comes on shuffle and I have a memory that pops in my head of us dancing to the song in my kitchen together, it's like, of course, that's going to make me a little bit sad. And, you know, that just triggers a bunch of other thoughts and other thoughts. It's just a thing where your brain is detoxing almost from a person. And it's just like, there is, of course, going to be good days and there is going to be bad days. I think I'm at a point now where I'm like, I would confidently say 99%. And I still plan to remain single just to like figure out, you know, I want my next, I'm not done giving you tips, by the way. I'm just going, I'm telling the story. This is my first time doing one of these fucking videos. I know it's all over the place, but I want my next partner to just feel like they're the luckiest person in the world. I want them to feel loved and appreciated. I want that to be, you know, something I work on before I find somebody. But getting back into what else helped me, I did get back into making YouTube videos, as you guys saw. Above anything, it's been a passion of mine, and it felt good to do that. It's just, I'm trying not to get back into that same mindset that I was in, and I'm doing a pretty good job about that. So, you know, giving myself a pat on the back about that. But that does help a lot, just keeping yourself occupied and doing hobbies that you enjoy. I remember in the earlier days of it, I bought a guitar. I tried to teach myself how to play that. I didn't do too good of a job at that. Getting out of a relationship is like the perfect opportunity because you just got a huge window of time that opened up. You can pursue anything. If you have the dedication to pursue like any hobby that you always wanted to, rock climbing, I don't know, hiking, I don't know, basketball, anything. An important thing to know as well, like this is probably one of the most important facts that I think would help you right now. Maybe you're going to say, oh, I don't want to hear that. But listen, when I say this, be grateful that it ended now and not 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because you didn't work out. And odds are, if you were to stay together, you probably wouldn't have worked out either. So even if you were married for 12 years, you just got divorced, be thankful it wasn't for 20 years, you know? That just means that person wasn't right for you. And now you have this extra time to reinvent yourself and work on yourself. I don't know. That's a thought that helped me going through this as well in the earlier days of going through this. And when people say time heals breakups, like it's the most true thing ever. Like I heard people say this to me, like friends texting me this in the earlier days of it. I'm like, fuck, no way, dude. That's the most bullshit thing you could say to a person. But it's so true. You're just overly emotional right now. And it feels like your emotions are dictating your every move. But soon enough, it will just balance out. And with every passing day, you will hopefully care less and less and less and less about the situation. And let's talk about like the don'ts really quick, because these are arguably more important for healing than the do's. I mean, maybe they're equally as important, but the don'ts for sure. Don't, drink because you're sad, because that just makes it worse. Don't do drugs because you're sad, because that just makes it worse. Don't stay in contact if you know this person is moved on, because that is just gonna only hurt you more and more and more and more. Like I said, we tried staying friends for a week, and it just, you could tell, the energy was completely shifted. It was off. So yeah, try not to be in contact at all. I know you probably really care about this person, but maybe that's where, if you love something, let it go. Is that where that comes from? I don't know. And now I'm at a point where how I'm feeling about this now, and I think this is the goal feeling with every breakup, is this feeling that I'm sitting with now. is that I just hope she's happy, and I hope she's doing all right. And I hope she is chasing her dreams. And I don't know, I truly wish the best for this person. And I think that is a really, really healthy way to look at this now. So, I mean, if you're not feeling that way about your ex currently, just know that I think in someday you will. Everybody heals at a different rate, of course. I still have days, like a week ago, I walked past her coffee machine in my kitchen. I don't know why the fuck that's still there, actually. That's another good bit of advice. You should probably just throw out everything that relates to them. But yeah, I was like, I walked past and I was like, oh, she used to make coffee here every single day. And it's not like it ruined my whole day, but it's like, yeah, the thoughts come in your mind, you just got to process them. And the more you do that, I think that's the more you heal. Like, number one advice, just don't ignore how you're feeling. If you're feeling like you got to cry, just let it out. I've cried so much, and I sound like a little bitch, but I don't care. I really don't care how you perceive me from this video, but I'm just telling you what I went through and, what helped. I don't know. I don't fucking know, man. I don't even know if this is like, I'm going on an hour of recording here, and I don't even know if any of this is usable. This is my first time doing this. I think I should also touch on I don't know, like the wanting your ex back thing. Because I think I never experienced that with my last relationship. And I definitely did in the first few weeks of this. And I was like, we can definitely fix this. This is fixable. We can fix this. Like I had that hopeful mindset. And that was just like destroying me. When you carry that around and that's your like motivation for everything, like it's just so damaging. It's actually toxic. It's literally like poison in your brain that just ruins your fucking experience of living. So if you are watching that right now and you feel this way, I mean, maybe you're just fresh out of a relationship. Of course you're going to feel that way. But if it's, a few weeks, a few months out, try your best to snap out of that, because it's realistically, I don't know. I don't know the fucking statistics. I don't know how many couples re get back together. I'm not gonna act like a fucking relationship coach expert, but it's definitely healthier to not think that and just to focus on yourself, because now is your time. Now is your time to finally get that thing done that you've been meaning to get done. Oh, here's something that's also very important. You need to sit down and because you're either putting all the blame on your ex right now, or you're putting all the blame on yourself, and that neither of those are true. Neither of those are true. You need to fully sit down and dissect the relationship and understand how it got to its demise. You have to understand what you did wrong, what they did wrong, and why the relationship didn't work out. Because if you miss that lesson of how to be a better partner, if you go through this whole process and miss that lesson, what the fuck did you go through this for? Why did you do it? It's going to take some time to figure that out. Of course, it's going to take some effort, but you might as well, unless you want to go through this shit again. And I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you want your next relationship to be the final one. So let's summarize really quick. I know this is a lot of information. Maybe none of it's good. I don't even know. This is my first time doing this. I don't know. I didn't write a script, okay? Don't make fun of me, man. I don't. I just wanted to put something out there. Hopefully this helps at least one person. That would be amazing if it did. So to recap what I did, going to the gym, just getting out and moving, it helps your body, it helps your mood so much. Getting in therapy, getting matched up with the right therapist, and I think a lot of people view therapy as a crutch. It's like, oh, why would I do that? I'm perfectly fine. I could take care of myself. I felt that way too, but it helps. Another thing that helps is reflecting on your own time, outside of therapy, reflecting. What did I do wrong? What did they do wrong? Learning to forgive them, learning to forgive yourself, both equally as important. Don't got to change a diet completely, but maybe, start eating a bit healthier. Maybe take some vitamins. Dude, I love vitamins. I take so many. I'm obsessed with them. I doubt they do anything, but I love them. Anyways, to my ex, not girlfriend, if you're watching this video, thank you for all the times we spent together. I really, I wrote you that long message when we disconnected, but thanks again. You were very kind. One of the kindest people I've ever met in my entire life. And, I'll never forget some of the times we spent together. And I don't know if you still have that butterfly poster, but what I wrote on the back of it is true. So keep that in mind. Follow your dreams. And I hope I wish you nothing but success. I really do. I really do. Good luck. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.